The following is for entertainment purposes only. We are not financial advisors. We are not responsible for any losses, only the profits. What's happening, Octo family? We're going to take a look at more preparation for next week. I think this is one of the craziest drumroll weeks we're about to ready to start. I think we've got a big macro picture unfolding. I'll get to it at the very end, but regardless, I want us to stay on top of stuff, but try not to join the cool kids too far off the limbing ledge. All right, make sure you're protected. First of all, what is trending on Twitter? The same stuff that's been trending all week. Since like Wednesday, Thursday. Top when I was doing this, I don't remember if it was last night or this morning, but very first thing, SEC pledges to punish abusive activity in the wake of the GameStop stock trading frenzy. SEC's going to come in and punish. Don't you love that word, punish, that SEC's going to come do? Remember I was talking about my video, I think it was a live video on, I don't know, Monday or Tuesday or something like that, where I was talking about we're all willing to knock on the door knowing the devil's on the other side, but are we willing to open it? What am I referring to the devil as? The big macro picture of the big boys? The real hedge, the real people that are running the world? Do we really want to fight against the SEC? Do we really want to fight against JP Morgan? We might want to until we open that door, because these guys could still crush us. Mainly through regulation. Who do you think runs on top of governments? It's money. All right? You think that they can't push down to their governments and tell them to do things? Through the SEC, make this rule. Then let's bail out this guy, JP Morgan. Then it trickles down from there. We're still going to be at the bottom. That's what I'm saying. I mean, I think this is kind of cool from like the real Robin Hood perspective of taking from the rich, give to the poor, kind of. But you just got to be careful that opening that door, unless someone's bigger than the devil behind you, right? Number 2, silver squeeze. It's just all over. Everybody's talking about the silver squeeze now. What does that mean? We're talking about GameStop and all the other stocks last week. Coming up this week, it's going to be silver. They're talking about trying to get silver to rip up. Even though they're buying the wrong stocks to make it rip up, they're buying stuff in the silver space, and the whole investor realm of silver and precious metals is already looking like they're behind them. Why? Because even this weekend and end of week last week, we saw prices going up, and I'm going to show you some crazy stuff already happening. I think a lot of the precious metal heads, the guys that only invest in silver and gold and stuff like that, there's a lot of money in that, a ton of money. Basically what we have here is combining forces with those people and Wall Street bets, okay? And now we've also got the people who are just trying to stand up for the little guy. You know, Mark Cuban's coming out. Chamath, of course, always running his mouth about stuff he doesn't even understand, but regardless, this is becoming like a full circle movement. I could see people literally opening up accounts just to screw over JP Morgan because they're going to help by buying $500 worth of shares or something like that. Just be careful, all right? I hope especially if you're a long-term subscriber of ours, I hope you're already in mining stocks, especially silver stocks, and especially I hope you own physical silver. I hope you own it. I'm sure 90% of you don't, though. Let this be another lesson learned. You know, SPACs get cool. When they're not, people don't buy them. When do they buy them? When they're already cool. Silver, nobody wants it when it's not cool. But now that it's cool, everybody wants it. People's aunts, grandmas. Dude down the street, the UPS guy, he's asking you about it. You buying some of that silver this weekend? That's when you should kind of take a step back, try to look at the bird's eye view. Third most trending on Twitter, inside Wall Street bets. All right. From there, it was going about the Cerveza stuff. Today, I just took this right before I did this video. You know, it's about 8:30 Eastern p.m. on Sunday. WWE Royal Rumble Wrestling. Fantastic. Looks like Goldberg's coming back. Awesome. But number 2, silver squeeze. Silver squeeze again. Still talking about all weekend. Number 2, inside Robinhood, the startup that caused Wall Street chaos. Number 2, Dogecoin. See where I'm getting at here? It's just almost getting too much. I wanted to bring up this comment here. This guy Lawrence Lepard retweeted Mr. Moron's tweet that said, "The one and only thing that they have feared for centuries is the sheer fact that there are a lot more of us," he's talking about retail, "than there are of them, money makers, market makers, multi-million, billion hedge fund people. That's what drives all narratives, all the false flags, all the division, and all the delegates. If we could only wake up, maybe we are." Doesn't it sound like revolution talk? He says, "Bingo, this is why they will fail." This sounds like to me just emotion here. What numbers are they using? But then Bob responded to that and said SLV, which is what people were talking about buying to make the silver spot price go up, which it technically won't. SLV is not the right one to buy, but he said just added 37 million shares to the trust today. 1,150 metric tons of buying in one day. This is huge. This is equivalent to 25% of all registered inventory backing the silver COMEX future contracts. Please retweet. So we got some factual data here, but I wanted to bring up the stuff on top because I think this is how a lot of people are thinking. They're all in this yeah, we're going to go march in front of Wall Street. They were doing this in, I think, 2000 when Bush was coming in or going out, or one of the two. People were like, yeah, forget Wall Street. They're the ones ruining everything. But they're looking at this as a movement, but just realize that these people could still absolutely crush everyone. And again, the easiest way is through regulation. If you don't believe me, do you realize what happened last week with brokers? All of a sudden they were down again. And then after they were not down again, then they came out and were like, by the way, you can't buy these stocks. And by the way, you can only buy one of those shares. And now we're going to remove all margin buying for those. They have the right to say if you can buy certain things on margin. That's up to them. But messing with the deal halfway through it when you're already in it and selling it for you and weird stuff like that, that's where it gets in the weird gray area. But again, that's all they have to do. And we've talked about this since my channel began. This is the stuff I tell you. One of the main reasons I have many brokers, because brokers do this stuff all the time. I've brought this up before. Have you noticed when the stock market is going down or weird stuff's happening, all of a sudden the brokers go down? And people are like, oh, that's because there's a lot of volatility. No, because if you look at it, if you look at the timing, the brokers usually go down about an hour before that happens. Don't believe me? Look it up. I've talked about it 10 times. All right? I want us to stay above where these people's heads are at right there. Okay? I don't want y'all thinking like these people up here. We will not fail. We could only wake up. Maybe we are one. Don't just... This is like rioting in the streets, people. It's going to make things worse. You may think you're helping something. This is going to bring more rules and more regulation, less margin buying, less share buying, less control for the little guy. It's not going to help the little guy whatsoever. We're going to make a point, but then they're going to put their thumb right back on our forehead and they're going to show us who's really in command. And trust me, I'm all for the little guy coming up and making it. But I'm also a realist and I know how this stuff really works. Just think about it. So I know everyone's thinking, sweet, so do I buy silver now? I wish you were asking me that 2-3 months ago, but I know a lot of you are asking me now. You can. If you super believe that silver is going to go up and it's going to stay up, go for it. I still think everyone, even at these prices, should have a decent amount of silver sitting in their house or buried out back or buried at your grandpa's place or something like that. All right, just for many, many reasons. But I think everyone should have physical metal for sure, because just like the stock market, it can get light switched. Banks can get light switched, and they do that, right? Happened, 3 or 4, maybe it was 4 months ago. I think Bank of America was doing that. power outages, you know, they can blame it on whatever they want. Stuff happens. All right. It'd be nice to have a little bit of physical. If you don't, yeah, sure, buy some. Just don't think that it might not go down from where it's at now. If you can buy some. What do you mean? What do I mean? This weekend, I was watching this stuff like a hawk, and stuff went from going up a little bit in price to all of a sudden me watching things like this. Like, these were some random bars that I was looking at buying, and it showed 102 were sold in the last hour. These were 10-ounce bars. That's fast, and this is just a random seller I found online. Then I started seeing stuff like this. Due to the major demand and influx, please be advised that the most products are estimated to ship in 5 to 20 days from the date of payment clearing. Because of the issues and what's going on, blah, 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 Scottsdale Mint has been declared a critical manufacturing facility by the federal government. Kind of interesting. But then all of a sudden, the websites all started loading really slow. And then stuff like this popped up. Update from SD Bullion, which is one of the biggest online sellers of precious metals, says, update, due to unprecedented silver demand, SD Bullion is unable to accept any additional orders until the market opens Sunday evening. Why are they doing that? They are doing that because they know what's going on, and they're thinking, why would I sell something to someone right now for $30 an ounce when on Monday morning it could open up and be $35 an ounce or $40 by the end of the day? I don't really blame them. You know, I don't think it's a good thing for keeping loyal customers and stuff like that, but it is what it is. I mean, we're talking millions and millions of dollars here. They can't be feeding people they don't need to. From there, it was one by one. All the buyers were down. Then BGASC went down. Due to massive demand, we are not taking new orders until we ship all recent orders. If you have any questions, please call us or email us. Not nuts. I actually bought something. All of us in the Discord were buying stuff last night, the night before. Buy stuff all the time, but buying a little more, why not? And we were seeing the sites get slower and slower and slower. Like the last couple of purchases that I heard us talking about, it literally took like 20 minutes to get an order to go through on one of the brokers. So if you can find some, buy it. But I will warn you, don't go on eBay. All right, and I have nothing against China, but a lot of the gold and silver that you buy online from China is fake. Ask me how I know. Don't believe me? Google it. Do you believe Google? Do you believe other forums? Do some investigative work. Try to find some silver if you can. Just buy it from a reputable person. Don't buy it on Craigslist. You know, there might try to find a place that's still taking orders. I think Kitco might. Kitco, they're the most expensive, but probably one of the most reliable, and they might hold an order. I don't know. Try to find another one, but as far as I know, pretty much all of them are down right now. Of course, a lot of you are thinking, okay, so do I get in these stocks that Wall Street Bets is talking about buying? You can, but just look at the other charts for the other ones. Look at GameStop, all right? Some people made money, but right when they were doing their rocket ships up, they would stop it, sell your shares, stop it, let everyone else go up a little bit more, and then still froze your account and waited till it started going back down and then let you back in. And by that time, you were already losing money. Just realize that can happen. And it's super freaky. I definitely wouldn't want to be stuck in SLV. It's an ETF that is basically fake. It's actually totally legal. I'm not going to get into the whole detail of SLV right now. But the other one they're talking about is AG, I believe. That's a legit company, but again, it can still get dropped on you super fast. I think it might be smart to buy physical, as always, instead. Or buy some supplemental silver miners other than that. Because if everyone does come together and silver price does start rocketing, which I think it will, we're going to get a decent run for sure. How long is it going to last? That's anyone's guess. But if it does end up lasting a little bit, all these other little silver miners that nobody's talking about on Wall Street Bets because they have no idea who they are, but we do at OctoNation. And if you don't, go watch 2 or 3 of my mining videos. I've got like top 5 explorers, junior miners, stuff like that. Go watch those. Just throw a dart. 2 or 3 of each, whatever you want to do. All right. those will start following, and those will multiply like crazy too. And those won't be as volatile. They're also probably not going to get like stopped by brokers, because there's already brokers that have already stopped allowing you to buy SLV and AG. So don't think the brokers aren't going to purposely do that again. One more point to make on the Wall Street bets, and I promise we're going to move on a little bit. As for GameStop, y'all think that all the hedge funds were getting screwed on that end of the deal? They weren't. All right. Ones like BlackRock, I think BlackRock made over like $15 billion in less than 2 weeks. So don't think either that was all retail that made GameStop go to where it was. BlackRock made $15 billion. Citadel, or whoever they were, might be the scapegoat that lost some money, and they're still going to lose a lot more money because they're still probably in, right? They've got to rebuy those shares, and they probably haven't rebought them because they were shorting them. What I'm getting at is, don't think that retail can move stuff that far, because it didn't. We have nothing proven that has happened. But don't believe either that this is totally screwing over the big guy and just giving back to the regular retail, because it's not. A lot of the big boys like BlackRock, we talk about BlackRock a lot, rode that with us. All right, they watch this stuff. They've got insiders outside people's houses, tapping lines, social media stalking, all the stuff that we are doing, boots on the ground, investigative work. They do that. It's the dirty side of Wall Street, right? It happens. So just keep all that in the big macro picture, all right? Moving on from there, ZNTE. If you haven't seen my video on that, ZNTE, something like that, it's a SPAC. Well, in that video, go watch it, but I was talking how they might take this company here, which is Lilium, to the stock market. And if they do, it'd be sweet. But check this out. So this report just came out Friday, and it said Florida will become home to 10 electric flying taxi hubs called vertiports. The air taxi Lilium announced a deal with Spanish infrastructure company to build over 10 landing locations in Florida. Most Florida residents will live within 30 minutes of one of the flying taxi hubs. The state's first commercial flight could be announced as soon as this spring. Why am I bringing this up? Because this likes to happen with SPACs. We'll start kind of putting some dots together, then we'll see something like this. Like, for instance, like Lucid. You notice how Lucid has been advertising on like all the stock channels? Like Jim Cramer, like in between shows, a Lucid video will come up. They're doing that on purpose. They can pick where that shows up. It's the same thing. Have you noticed Lilium has had, I think, like 2 really good reports come out just like this before we get an LOI. They time this stuff on time if they're doing it perfectly, right? They're selling us. They're pre-selling the SPAC. That way, when we do get an LOI, hopefully it's ZNTE, because a lot of us are in there, people are really going to want it, and it's going to rip. And I'm all for that. So I'm just saying, keep your ears to the street. All right, if we hear Lilium going with this SPAC, I'm buying. Even if it's not ZNT, I'll probably pivot. I'll probably sell some ZNT and jump into which one is Lilium. I think it's a super future and be super dope. So keep your ears open for that. More drama. This is, been talking about this for a long time. No one believes me, but it's starting to come true. So India is starting to ban crypto. Don't believe me? Well, there you go. It's on Bloomberg. India plans to introduce a legislation to ban cryptocurrencies. I was saying they're going to use us, just like we're talking about silver. They're going to use us as the clutch and reason to make more regulation to take things away. And then they're going to come in and introduce their own. It's the same thing they did in like 1938? Does anyone know? I think it was 1938. Went to Americans and they said, to protect you, give us all your physical gold. Literally, give us all your physical and gold, and we're going to replace that with these federal banknotes from the Federal Reserve, who now runs the show. And all the people are like, okay, here you go. Guess what happened to the price of precious metals after that? This is how it always happens. Always. Mr. Fisker, Mr. Hendrik Fisker, everyone's favorite uncle. New tech. This week I met with a Manhattan Beach, California police chief, a visionary, and excited to talk about our new tech. We got a few things that will make the perfect police cruiser, a big market, EV, ESG, just something to watch next week. You know, we just got another Photoshop here. Sweet. I could totally see this. Problem? If Mr. President dude is a man of his word, we'll find out. So far, I don't think it's really looking like it. If we really are going to go made in America, like he's talking about, this probably won't come true. Why? Because these aren't made in America at all. Do we even know where the batteries are coming from yet? How about the rubber? We know where the rubber is coming from yet? Do we know where the LiDAR is coming? It's not. So I don't know. I can still see them getting it because I don't believe most things that politicians say. Just keep that in mind. Will they end up getting it? They technically shouldn't. Technically should go to an American-based company, right? Should go to a place that makes stuff here, like, I don't know, Tesla, Toyota, BMW. Don't they make more here than Chevy or Ram now? But this Google salvaged Robinhood's 1-star rating by deleting nearly 100,000 negative reviews. Long story short, people aren't very happy with Robinhood right now. They're doing all sorts of funny, crazy stuff, which is fine. But what happened is Google users went on to Google's site, the app site, and they were leaving reviews of Robinhood app, giving it like 1 star out of 5, over 100,000 of them. What does big boy Google come in and do? They decided it was fake news. Okay, so what does that mean? Robinhood's rating on the App Store went down to 1 out of 5. And after Google removed all the negative reviews, now it's a 5 out of 5 again. So pay attention to that stuff, y'all. Mr. President Biden came out and also said $600 is simply not enough when you have to choose between paying your rent and putting food on the table. Everyone in the world agrees with that. That's why my America Rescue Plan finishes the job of getting $2,000 to folks who need it most. Sweet. Why am I bringing this up? Because, number one, I hope people that are struggling do get more money. Sucks it has to be given to them. I just hope we can just provide jobs to them. But so far, I haven't seen any infrastructure stuff coming out. So don't see that happening. The pipeline thing, that's going to ruin, over 11,000 jobs. That's not going to help with jobs either. I don't know. Regardless, I hope people do get a little bit of money right now because everyone's getting kind of thumbed on the forehead. Right? When this does happen, this is usually good for stock. This is the only thing I have seen that does correlate. I have seen the market totally react to stimulus. Nothing else. So show me a chart that tells me something different. Let me know. I need to clarify what I mean when I say greedy. So I've been saying, I use this word a lot where I'm like, dude, stay greedy with your stocks. I don't think a lot of you understand why I'm meaning that. And then when I thought about it, I was like, they could probably be taking this the wrong way. Okay. When I say, when I'm greedy about stocks, what do I mean? That means when something's green, I like to take it. And I say, okay, that is mine, give it to me, I'm out. But I realize when a lot of people hear that word, be greedy with stocks, a lot of them are probably thinking, okay, I'm going to stay in it because I think it's going to keep going up, and I'm going to be greedy by just holding on forever. I don't mean the latter. I meant if you see a little bit of green on the table, take it. So stay greedy in that way, but don't be greedy by thinking it's going to keep going up forever and magically you're long holding it because you believe in the company or it has good fundamental, whatever your reason is. Just never be afraid to pull green. If you see extra green for you on the table, pull it or pull most of it off. That's what I mean by being greedy. All right, I had to clarify that. So Bitcoin, crypto and stuff. More and more news, more and more bull case. Fidelity, y'all heard of them? I hope PSTH, Mr. Clock, Mr. Guyliner himself, I hope he grabs Fidelity. Regardless, Fidelity is optimistic about Bitcoin, the regulation under the Biden administration. They see a strong institutional demand. What does that mean? It's just hype, right? They're saying under the Biden administration, they're going to hopefully see more demand for it. I don't know. I know the more you suppress stuff and try to regulate stuff, the more people are going to want it. And I think that's what's happening to the whole market right now. How about this? The world's largest hedge fund, Bridgewater, has crypto plans. Founder Ray Dalio calls Bitcoin one heck of an invention. So again, we just have more big money buying and calling crypto cool. So to wrap all this up, should we be scared of the market crash? Big market crash worse than March? For sure you should. I'm not even going to show you on the charts. Just be super scared of it. And that's why I meant being greedy. Dude, keep your money tight. And if you're riding long and you got super up on something, at least pull half of it. All right? 50%, 75%. Pull it out. Ride, surf for free. You can go long on stuff if you're surfing for free. But don't be going long on something thinking you're going to gain 2 or 3 or 4 or 5% here. No. Just don't do it. Don't hold your money floating out there unless there's the perfect investment out there. What is that? SPACs. Common SPACs near the floor. That's what the smart people are doing right now. They're doing super fast, super heavy swing trades throughout the day, throughout the week maybe, but watching it like a hawk, taking that money, that profit, and putting it into unannounced SPACs around $10. It's that easy, folks. If and when the next crash does happen and you're sitting in mostly in almost floored SPACs, you're going to be one happy dude, right? If you're the person that's in all these weird, want to be clean sparky stocks or a clean spark or something like that, you're going to be super mad and going to have some family drama and all sorts of stuff happening. Don't do it. There's a reason I talk about SPACs mostly. All right. Is this going to be the perfect setup for destruction? What am I talking about here? I think all of what's going on right now is the perfect setup for destruction. What am I talking about? Everything. Everybody is coming together. Everything. Bitcoin, silver, regular stocks, penny stocks, EV. Everything thinks Biden is going to make everything way better. So you have everyone from every side of the street coming in to buy stocks. You got teenagers. You got older folks who have never even bought stock. They're buying in. Now you got the people who are just get emotional or are jumping on the emotional train about, yeah, forget it. Let's screw over JP Morgan. What are you doing? You don't know what you're doing, man. When you get everyone inside a bubble, it's a lot easier to pop it and let them all fall. Don't be in that bubble with all the regular people when that bubble gets popped. I'm going to be over here in a weird position in like ground floor SPACs. All right. People are still buying, warrants and SPACs around $2.50, $4 or whatever. Dude, it's your call, but I don't think I'm in any warrants right now, and I haven't for, I don't know. I've swung a couple like for a day, like if on a LOI I'll buy something or something, then maybe sell a couple days, something like that. But I ain't going long nothing. No way. Unless I'm surfing for free. If I pull out 75% and my 25% is just surfing for free, sweet. I'm going to take that risk. But just realize if you got a lot to lose, and I believe we all do, protect yourself, because I think this is all what's happening. What's going to happen at the big macro picture of this? Again, let's recap. More rules, more regulation, always in the name of safety, market volatility. They can shut off our brokers, right? They can kill the price of silver, price of gold. They can kill the price of Bitcoin. They can kill it all. Where's that going to leave you if that happens within one day? And don't think that you can always just get on your broker and sell something real quick, because last week showed us that ain't always going to be true. Just protect yourself. Let's not even focus about multiplying. I don't think for this next at least week to come. Let's just focus on being greedy, as in if we see green, pull it, and surfing for free, right? And just protecting ourselves. I think we need to stay in that defense mode right now and not try to hype into this emotional plan of destruction for the big and wealthy. We're never going to win, at least not anytime soon. If you haven't subscribed, please do it. If you wouldn't mind joining our Patreon, we got a lot of folks making a ton of money, getting a lot of questions answered. I am totally overwhelmed with questions and stuff. So if you're asking me here, there, or everywhere that we're on and I'm not getting back to you, don't take it personal. It's just, I am simply just running out of time. I swear I'm doing the most to still help everyone out in the big picture. I'm always going to be on your side. We'll see you out there next week. Let's rip. Did you know that we give away free silver? Simply leave a comment on the video, and as long as you're in the continental United States, you can be automatically entered to win. Please friend us on Twitter and StockTwits.